Okay, get this. XRP is already one of the most valuable assets on the entire planet. I know, right? Let me break it down for you. Right now, it's sitting at number 92 on the list. Yeah, 92. But here's the thing. I think it's going to climb way higher than that. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if XRP makes it into the top 10 of all assets on Earth. Not just crypto, I'm talking everything. It's already crushing it in the crypto space, but I mean everything. Think about this for a second. XRP is worth what it's worth today, and less than 1% of people have ever even bought it. Can you imagine what happens when more people jump on board? This thing's going to be worth an absolute fortune compared to where we are now. Still, I gotta say, I'm pretty blown away by where it's ranking already. And you know what's crazy? All those people who tried to kill it over the years, especially that whole SEC mess, they couldn't do it. It survived. Look, if that SEC situation couldn't take down XRP, nothing will. That was literally their best shot at destroying it. The most brutal attack they could throw at it, and it didn't work. But hey, before we go any further, I need to be super clear about something. I don't have any financial background whatsoever. I'm not giving you financial advice here, and you definitely shouldn't buy or sell anything just because of what I'm saying. Now, here's where things get really exciting. Let's talk about what XRP could be worth if it actually makes it into the top 10 assets worldwide. And honestly, I really don't think that's asking for much. You're going to see why once I show you these numbers. I mean, some of them are absolutely mind-blowing, but just to crack the top 10, I don't know, it doesn't seem like that huge of a stretch. So check this out. I found this headline from Crypto Basic that says, here's how much XRP must rise to overtake the top 10 assets in the world. Get this though. They're saying XRP is sitting as the 100th largest asset in the world right now. So the big question is, how much would it actually need to go up to beat out those top 10 assets? Oh, and just so you know, they posted this article this morning when XRP was trading at $2.87. As I'm recording this right now, it's actually at $3.07. So XRP has already moved up the rankings. It's not even 100 anymore. It's actually sitting at number 92 on this list. I'm looking at companiesmarketcap.com right here, and you can see they're tracking everything. Public companies, precious metals, cryptocurrencies, ETFs, it's all mixed in together. And just to put this in perspective, Bitcoin is sitting at number 6 on this same list. But check this out, the most valuable asset on the planet is gold. And it's not even close. We're talking $23 trillion here. Nvidia's in second place at $4.3 trillion. Bitcoin's hanging out at number 6 with $2.2 trillion. And XRP, it's sitting at $182 billion right there. All right, so they go on to say, and I'm just going to read this as it is, even though I already mentioned the price has moved since this morning, but hey, it's crypto. Don't like the price? Give it 30, 45 seconds and it'll probably be totally different anyway. So they're pointing out that XRP was trading at 287 and has been getting tons of attention for absolutely crushing it in 2025. Since January, XRP has jumped 38%, which is way ahead of all the major benchmarks. Look at this. The S&P 500 has only gained 6%. The NASDAQ 100 is up just 8.33%. Even gold, the thing everyone runs to when they're scared, has only risen 28% this year. XRP is still beating it. Yeah, XRP has been absolutely killing it ever since the November election. And now that this whole war on crypto is finally over, we've got a level playing field for the first time. XRP is doing exactly what I thought it would do. It's absolutely shining. All it needed was that fair shot. And guess what? It turns out this thing is incredibly useful. And people are finally recognizing what it can actually do. It just works. XRP does everything Bitcoin was supposed to do, but can't. And it's not just you and me who think this makes sense. People all over the world are realizing they actually want a cryptocurrency that works the way Bitcoin was originally supposed to work. I'm talking real-time, instant settlement, and transactions so cheap, they're basically free. This is real-life stuff. It actually just works. Turns out people really do value that, and those aren't even all the reasons. That's just a huge part of it. Anyway, the article keeps going. With XRP already among the world's top 100 assets, some are already wondering how much it must rise to break into the top 10. We recently made an assessment to highlight this, and they mention, which is smart, that for their analysis, they kept the circulating supply at 59.3 billion tokens. Yeah, which is exactly what you should do. Yeah, 59.3 billion. According to Live Coin Watch, that's the right number. You just multiply that by whatever the market price is, and boom, there's your market cap. That's why they brought it up. So the article goes on to say, considering this metric, XRP needs to climb to 2641 to match Saudi Aramco, which is sitting at number 10 with a $1.566 trillion valuation. Now, look, I'm never going to sit here and make price predictions. I'll be the first to admit I have no clue what's actually going to happen. But I do have this strong gut feeling that if you just give it time, XRP is going to keep trending upward. I really believe that. And honestly, I don't think 2641 is that crazy of an ask. Do you? I mean, I don't know if it'll happen this cycle, but that's not some wild fantasy number. That could literally happen this year. Maybe the more conservative guys are right, though, like Blockchain Backer, when he talks about $8, $9, $10 for XRP. He might be spot on. In that case, we're not seeing XRP in the top 10 anytime soon. Could be several more years if it ever happens at all. But I really don't think 2641 is asking for too much. If a ton of money starts flooding into crypto, which some solid analysts think is going to happen, then yeah, you could actually see XRP hit that range. That's why chart guys like Credible Crypto and Crypto Insight UK are predicting XRP will likely peak somewhere between $20 to $30. Hey, congrats on snagging some XRP before it potentially rockets into the top 10 most valuable assets ever. I mean, look at it now. It's already shot up and sitting at position 92. That means you're still crazy early to the party. If this thing actually makes it to the top 10, you're basically a time traveler who got in before everyone else figured it out. Seriously, anyone listening to this in August 2025 should give themselves a pat on the back. So they're looking at Meta, Facebook's parent company, sitting pretty with a $1.884 trillion market cap. For XRP to match that beast, we'd need to see it hit $31.77. Some folks think that could actually happen this market cycle. Maybe? I wouldn't bet the farm on it, but hey, stranger things have happened in crypto. Then there's the next level up. Just over $2 trillion market cap territory where XRP would need to touch 35.21. After that, you've got Amazon in 6th place, which would put XRP at 38.44. Now, here's where I start getting a little skeptical if we're talking about this cycle specifically. But if we're just throwing around numbers with no timeline, just saying someday, somewhere down the road, all right, I can roll with that. $38 doesn't sound completely bonkers, especially if XRP keeps getting adopted the way it has been. I mean, let's be real. It's already proving itself out there. Look, it's not even a question of if XRP is going to be successful anymore. So if we're right about that, and I think we are, then how does XRP not eventually hit $38? Think about it. The whole crypto space just keeps exploding, getting bigger and bigger, and XRP is going to grab its slice of that pie. So if we're not putting some crazy timeline on it, I'd honestly be shocked if it didn't get there eventually. Oh, and get this, apparently XRP could leap over Bitcoin, Amazon, and Alphabet all at once if it rockets past $38. Yeah, okay. But here's the thing that bugs me about that calculation. It's based on what those assets are worth right now, including Bitcoin. And that's just not how this works. There's zero chance XRP overtakes Bitcoin this cycle. Like, come on. Money flows into Bitcoin first. That's just how people behave in this space. So if XRP somehow gets to $38, that means Bitcoin is going to be worth way more than it is today too. XRP snatching the #1 market cap spot this cycle, not happening. Maybe ever? I honestly don't know. Look, I'll admit it, I have no clue if Bitcoin's going to stay king forever. But here's what I do know. There's absolutely nothing showing me that people are acting any different this cycle than they have before. Bitcoin first, everything else second. So XRP becoming #1 this round, there's not a snowball's chance in hell. But seriously, if XRP actually hits $38 this cycle, what's that make Bitcoin worth? We're talking 200K, 300K, maybe more? Has to be some absolutely wild number, which is exactly why I'm like, yeah, right, about all this happening so fast. Then they're saying XRP could flip Apple. We're talking over $3 trillion here, so XRP would be sitting at $50.95. Look, there's basically no way that's happening this cycle, but could XRP eventually crack $50? Hell yeah, I totally believe that's possible. That's not some pipe dream, it's actually realistic. I just don't know if we're talking months, years, or what. Next up is Nvidia at #2 worldwide with $4.2 trillion. XRP would have to hit $71.39 to match that. And you know what? I don't even think that's nuts. Triple-digit XRP, not crazy at all. Will it happen? Who knows, but crazy? Nope. Now here's where it gets really wild. If XRP somehow becomes the king of all assets and takes out gold, we're looking at $380.38 per coin. That would be absolutely bonkers. Am I banking on XRP becoming #1? Not really, but man, maybe I'm just not dreaming big enough here. Maybe I need to expand my vision a bit. If this thing keeps getting adopted and proves it's really that valuable, then who knows what could happen. We're in this crazy new world, and honestly, I think most people just can't wrap their heads around how big things could get. It's been obvious for a while now. You've got people who swore XRP would never see $3 again or hit new highs. Same people who said Bitcoin would never get this far. Who knows? Maybe with enough time, it actually does happen. But hey, if you want to talk about targets that are actually realistic short-term, and this still gets me excited, just picture XRP matching Ethereum's market cap. I mean, we're talking about the market cap of what's basically a fancy website, and that would put XRP at $7.59 just to match where ETH is chilling right now. That's pretty damn appealing to me. I'd definitely be taking some profits around that price. Hopefully, I would have dumped most of my bag by then if those numbers actually show up. But check this out. That's with Ethereum sitting at what? $3,717 as I'm making this? That's nowhere near its all-time high of like $4,800 or $4,900. So I'm basically betting that Ethereum's going to rocket way past where it is now. Could be $8,000, $9,000, maybe $10,000. Some analysts are calling for even crazier numbers than that. If that plays out, we'd be staring at something more like $20 XRP. That's why I keep saying $20 XRP this cycle isn't some fantasy. Gonna happen? Your guess is as good as mine. Fantasy? Not even close. Now, if XRP somehow matches Bitcoin's current market cap, we're looking at $38.65 per coin. But here's the thing I keep hammering. Bitcoin runs this show. So if XRP actually climbs to that level, Bitcoin's got to be sitting way higher than it is today. But again, if you throw out the whole time thing and just ask, will that ever happen? Man, I just don't see how it doesn't. XRP is already getting adopted like crazy, and we're going to have way more people piling into crypto as time goes on. I honestly can't picture a scenario where we don't hit those numbers eventually. So yeah, Bitcoin sitting at what? $2.29 trillion market cap as I'm recording this? Well, why the hell couldn't XRP have a multi-trillion-dollar market cap someday? It'd actually be pretty weird if it never got there, don't you think? If this thing keeps getting adopted the way it has been, that just makes perfect sense to me. I think we're absolutely going to get there. I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is, and I'll be honest here, the whole time I've been holding XRP since late 2017, I feel like I've been dreaming pretty big, but keeping it realistic, you know? And things are actually playing out now pretty much how I expected they would, generally speaking. I just never know exactly how long anything's going to take or precisely how high we'll go. But seeing all this XRP adoption, publicly traded companies jumping in, all that jazz, none of it catches me off guard. All the extra utility, XRP actually getting used, watching money market funds get tokenized on the XRP ledger because they literally have been, seeing actual treasury bills tokenized on the XRP ledger. This is all the stuff I always believed made perfect sense, and it's going down right now. I just don't get how XRP doesn't become worth way more as this whole thing unfolds and more cash keeps pouring into crypto as time marches on. It's a complete no-brainer to me. So none of this feels crazy whatsoever. But if we're on the right track and that's the direction we're going, we might need to sit tight and wait this out a little. Look, I'd absolutely love to be dead wrong. I'd love for all these people yelling that we're going to smash $40 or $50 this cycle to be completely right. If I'm off base, I've got zero ego wrapped up in this. I'll be pumped to say, well, totally missed that call. Way to go, everyone. And I'll be partying right alongside you. I'm just keeping it real when I say I don't think we're climbing that high this cycle. But damn, would I be thrilled to be wrong. Super stoked to be wrong. I want every single one of us to make as much cash as we possibly can. So that would be absolutely amazing if it goes down like that. But even if it doesn't reach those insane heights, I think it's still going to be absolutely life-changing for tons of people. And I'm convinced that's happening no matter where we actually top out. Our entire lives could be totally different in just a couple months. Shoot, maybe even in the next month or 2 or 3, if this cycle really peaks that fast. Everything could flip for all of us just like that. So we're all going to see how this whole thing plays out together. And honestly, it's pretty damn exciting. I really don't think we're going to walk away bummed out. Whatever peak this thing hits, I just can't see us being disappointed this cycle. I genuinely can't. But look, I'm not a financial advisor. You definitely shouldn't buy or sell anything based on what I'm rambling about here, okay? That would be a really terrible idea.